Hey guys, welcome back to Ace Recaps. Today I'm going to be explaining a 2020 Hindi fantasy horror short story titled, Ghost Stories. Samira is a young and beautiful home nurse. One morning as she waits for her taxi, she calls up her boyfriend who claims to be busy that day, so he isn't going to be able to meet her. This upsets Samira, but she makes do with whatever's going on and leaves for work. That morning something seems to be a little off as she sees herself being surrounded by a murder of crows. She doesn't think much of this and visits the house of the patient. She is filling in for a friend for the next few days as her friend is on a vacation. Mrs. Malik, her patient for the day, is an old woman who is bedridden and living all by herself. She suffers from schizophrenia and constantly imagines her son to be walking around the house even though he only visits once in a blue moon. As Samira enters her house, she introduces herself as the fill-in nurse for the next few days and promises the poor old lady that she'd take good care of her. She starts off by feeding her meds and cleaning out her urine bag. She notices that the house has a weird stench, so she lights up some incense sticks and takes them around the house. While giving the old woman a bath, the neighborhood kids annoy her by ringing the doorbell and running away. That night as the old woman rests, Samira goes through her things. She tries on her jewelry and makeup in order to look pretty for her boyfriend. Suddenly she hears a scream, and when she goes to check up on the old woman, it looks like she's fallen to the floor. Samira helps her up, feeds her and gives her an extra dose of her sleep medication so she doesn't wake up the rest of the night. As the old woman sleeps, Samira puts on some seducing lingerie and takes a video of herself to send to her boyfriend as he promised her that he'd come over that night. She waits all night for him, but sadly even after all this preparation, he says that he won't be able to make it. Samira seems to be head over heels in love with this man, so she starts scratching herself. That night as she sleeps, she hears some footsteps outside her door. She goes to have a look, but there's no one there. Fearing her safety, she goes around the house, but it seems to be empty. When she goes to check up on Mrs. Malik, she is startled as the old lady is seen sitting up straight even after feeding her the extra dose of medication. The old lady claims that her son is at home and he's hiding in the walls. This scares Samira, but she puts her back to bed and goes off to sleep. The next morning it's the same routine and the stench doesn't seem to have gone away. She then proceeds to bathe the old woman, who tells her about the old days when she was young and beautiful just like her. Samira gets a call from her boyfriend who promises her a wedding soon, but she gets mad at him because he never keeps up to his promises. She calls him over and breaks down in tears. Mrs. Malik tells her not to worry about whatever's bothering her as time goes by. Everything you thought that mattered just doesn't anymore. This is a life lesson to every one of us. That night as she goes to bed, she hears the doorbell ring. She goes to check it out but figures that it must be the kids again. Just then we see a man slowly sneak in through the back. When she gets back in the house, she is surprised to see her boyfriend. Since he was there early, she decides to put Mrs. Malik to sleep, so she feeds her the medication along with the extra dose of her sleep aid. Samira and her boyfriend then proceed to make sweet love, but suddenly hear someone at the door again. This freaks them out and the man decides to pack up and leave as the house gives him eerie vibes along with the stench. He tells her to sleep with the lights on and to call him if anything goes south. Just then she hears the old lady screaming, and when she goes in she sees that the old woman is sitting upright banging her cup on the bed. She claims that she heard her son outside and that he likes hiding. She insists Samira to go look for him in the kitchen. A terrified Samira agrees to shut the woman up. When she goes to look around, she finds the dead body of Mrs. Malik lying on the floor of the kitchen, which means that Samira has been tending to her spirit, as her rotting corpse has been causing the stench all this while. The movie ends as we see Mrs. Malik crawl toward Samira. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Have a great day.